Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with a brand new brew review. Today we will be having a beer that I've known for a long time. I remember the first time that I had this beer very well, which is a good thing. But it was about 20 years ago. I was 16 at the time, which is the legal drinking age for beer here in Belgium. And after school, during the winter exams, so somewhat around this period, we went into the city, straight to the Antwerp Cathedral. Well, actually, right across the cathedral into het Waterswartje, a beloved beer cafe by Lisa Lauwers and one of the coziest beer spots in all of Antwerp. And we got up the stairs onto the old mezzanine and ordered ourselves a round of Malheur 12. Malheur 12 by Brouwerij de Landtsheer. Now you heard that right, a bunch of 16-year-olds having an 11.5% ABV Belgian dark ale. Of course we didn't have 7 of them, but currently it's been years since I've had a Malheur 12 and I have some aging in the cellar, so we're gonna have one of those right now. Heck, it is winter, it's dark, it's cold, exactly the kind of atmosphere to have one of these. It might seem as if Malheur is a 100-year-old beer, but actually the brewery got kickstarted only in 1997. And the story I just told you all about dates back to 1999, so it was fairly new back then. Don't let looks deceive you, the family de Landtsheer, who is behind this brewery, has a brewing history of almost 250 years. And it has connections to some of Belgium's best known and well respected breweries, but that is a story for another video. I will be doing a brewery breakdown about the Landtsheer. Malheur exists in different forms. There's the Malheur 6 that I talked about in brew review number 179, I believe. There's an 8% and a 10% variant, and there are Brut beers, but this is the mother of Malheur, the 12, called 12. To fit the 6, 8, 10 row, but in fact it has an ABV of 11.5 and it's about as classic as can be. A strong dark ale with candied sugar and re-fermentation in the bottle. So this beer is actually often compared to Trappist beers or quadruples or barley wines, and I guess when looking at the style and the ABV, they're not wrong when people are saying that this is a quadruple or a barley wine. So yeah, let's dive right in. Now, unfortunately, I only have a 25 centiliter glass and they do sell the beer in 33 centiliter bottles, but that just means I can have 2 of them, as usual. Now, first off, let's talk about this, this packaging again. It does say Malheur 12 World Beer Awards 2014, World's Best, the Gold Award, Belgian Dark Ale, and it doesn't say much more. The back label just only mentions that the original brew was 22 degrees Plato, high fermentation, re-fermentation in the bottle, and that's about it. So yeah, not much extra info. The only thing that this bottle also says is that next to malted barley, yeast, water and hops, there are some spices added, but yeah, if you ever had one of these beers, you can tell. Now, this is a beer that has been aging in my cellar for quite a while, and actually yeah, how should I say this? This is not just a brew review, this has one question in it, namely, does it age? Why? Because this beer expired in May 2021. It is now November 2023, so I waited 2.5 years for this. Now, bear in mind that most of these beers have a shelf life of about 18 months, sometimes 24 months. And taste evolution pretty much ends at 3 years, 36 months. So 2.5 years is way more than enough to get that evolution in the taste. And I still have like 3 or 4 of these in the cellar. But let's see if that question gets answered today. Does it age? First off, like many dark beers, this beer isn't actually brown. This is a very, very deep dark red, a very dark ruby red. Yeah, lovely color. It does have some nice foam. Now, of course, the foam dissipates a bit quicker now because it is an aged beer. It was actually thick and creamy, nice and beige. Yeah, like we would expect from a beer like this. And yeah, the fact that it dissipated already is of course my own doing by aging it. Now, what does the scent tell us? Yeah, that aged. I do get a lot of port in there, some Porto. A tiny hint of red fruits, a lot of raisins. Still some candied sugar, a bit of carbon dioxide. But I would say mainly dried fruits like raisins and figs. Now, of course, this beer is just bottle aged, not wood aged or anything, but yeah, it smells rather beautiful actually. And I would actually like to see what Malheur 12 does when barrel aged. I think you could probably compare it to that Golden Draak bourbon barrel aged version. Absolutely lovely. Yeah, let's have a taste. Yeah. The initial flavor that I get is a bit of brown sugar, a bit of molasses actually. And of course there is candied sugar added, partially to sweeten the beer, partially for the re-fermentation, because 22 degrees Plato technically can't really result in 11.5% ABV, more like 10. But nonetheless, yeah, so some brown sugar. Also, I would call this a barley wine mainly because of the flavor, because of the mouthfeel, because it is very, very warming. This is very wintry. I would actually really love this when outside in the snow talking to my neighbors on Christmas Eve, for example, watching the fireworks. I do believe that over the years it got a bit thinner and a lot boozier. It is a bit less creamy than the original, but nonetheless, and I'll try to have a comparison between another cellar aged one and a fresh one. But this is very boozy, very warming. This is very prickling in the back of the throat, but also the roof of the mouth and the tip of the tongue. Let's say all the sensitive soft tissue. It also circulates very nicely through the nasal cavity. I do get a tiny hint of chocolate in there as well, accompanied by the dried fruits that I talked about earlier. And I do think that I don't recognize any of the spices anymore, but I would say some clove, some coriander. Yeah, very nice indeed. Also a rather present aftertaste. Again, very nice, very well rounded. Lingers on a bit. I do get a bit of licorice in that aftertaste. Yeah, I think the only thing that could make this beer better, in my opinion, is a tiny bit of star anise, for example. But it is an absolutely beautiful beer, and even though they've only existed for like 26 years currently, yeah, they do know what they're doing. But more on that brewing history in another video, like I said. Yeah, absolutely beautiful beer. So why not skip ahead to the verdict? Yeah, I'm all but negative about this beer. As you guys heard, I like the packaging, I like the beer, I like the story behind it because it has a personal meaning for me. I love the color, like I said, a very beautiful brownish deep red. I do like the scent again. Lovely fragrance. I do get a bit of chocolate in a fragrance now as well. That is of course from the dark malts. A lot of raisins and stuff. All things that yeah, that actually bring up happy thoughts and memories. Aftertaste, great. Taste in itself, awesome, very heartwarming, literally. So I would call this beer, let's make it a 4. Yeah, maybe I would call this a 3.5, 3.75 on a summer's day, but on a day like today, cold, dark, drooly day, I would say this is a 4. Okay, that all being said, I will see you guys again on Monday for another brew review. As usual, if you like this video, leave a comment, hit that thumbs up. If you have any remarks, if you want to share your own experiences, comment section is the way to go. I try to answer everyone as soon as possible. If you want to see more, hit subscribe, hit that bell icon as well, because you'll be the first to be notified whenever I upload something, which should be Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 6 p.m. And yeah, if you want to support this channel, just share a video somewhere, promote it. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Monday. Cheers.